Now, middle school goes incredibly quickly. In fact, I'm just seeing my last child leave middle school in a couple of weeks, and so the time just whizzes by, and there's so much going on in middle school. Those of you who, parents here who've had children go through middle school before, obviously you'll be refreshingly reminding yourselves of all the fun things that your children did, and for those of you who are going through it the first time, then be prepared for a ride. While you're in the facility this evening, I really appreciate you wearing masks and social distancing, although we've relaxed the rules outside, and it's wonderful to see each other's faces, at least for the foreseeable future, just to keep us all safe. We are adhering to requirements indoors, so I really appreciate your thoughtfulness in keeping each other safe. So I'm going to hand it over, once again, welcome to middle school. I'm going to hand it over to Middle School Director Darlene Snyder.
Hello, thank you, Dr. Montgomery, and I'm very delighted to have all of you here. This is a very exciting time, not just because we're transitioning your children into middle school. It's really one of our first events we've been actually able to have this year, so we are so very delighted. Even one of our teachers who's been with us over a year, this is her second year, she said, last year I don't remember this, and I said, I know, we didn't do this at the end of last year, so we're all very excited to even have us come together in this space and celebrate this wonderful time in your child's life, milestone, leaving the younger years and going into those middle school years. And so tonight's event is really geared toward giving you information. And this is not all the information, it is not comprehensive, as middle school is one of those things that you just continue to learn as you go on. So we will start our program and try to keep everything going smoothly. You all have time, you have dinner, you have things to get to, and I want to recognize that, but also give you a starting point for conversation in your house, and also a starting point for you to feel free to communicate with my office, myself, these teachers, as questions come up, because transitions don't happen overnight, and adjusting to new things, as we all know, don't happen just in a blink of an eye. So things bubble up, and as you have questions, and as your children have questions, please feel free to contact myself or any of the teachers or anyone in the middle school. That's what we're here for. So if I can get our program started, we will do that. Okay. So, and I want to go ahead and thank all of my technology people first, because it takes a lot, as you can see. I have Mr. Nikhil Lovell up top doing technology for us there. He's helping keep all the microphones going, and thank him for that as we get into the program. But middle school is an exciting time, and I have been doing middle school for about 14 years, and I've been the middle school director for 11 years. And middle school is one of those things that many of us as adults now probably don't look back and say, those were the most fabulous years in our lives. And I see some of you going, yeah, that's true. But the goal for us is to really nurture, love, and make that transition as pleasant as possibly can, as we can. And we have a phenomenal staff. And as you can see, tonight, that will shine through. So the purpose of middle school years is very different than elementary years. And this is where it can get kind of confusing and disorganization can set in. And so the goals of middle school really are to focus in on that and create a smooth transition for your child into high school. We're preparing your child for high school, and 3 years' time, when they leave in 8th grade, we want to be able to say, your child is 100% ready to go to that next level when everything really starts counting on that transcript, resume, college building kind of clock. And so middle school should be viewed as that, as a transition period of 3 years to be able to say, we're going to start in 6th grade, learn a lot, and we'll be be bumps along the way, and if we have to have those bumps and those conversations and some of those failures of just life, that's okay. We want to do that in the middle school years so that by the time your child leaves us, they have learned and grown through all of those experiences. So middle school is about nurturing the child and about structured, supportive environment, and Lakeview does that. My boys actually started in Lakeview in 6th grade, and they came from public school, and I'll never forget the very first day they came in. They had their backpacks fully loaded, like these kids do, and I'm sure your children do, and they were bigger than my children, okay? And that's how it started. And my boys came into my classroom when I was teaching at the time. They drug those backpacks, they threw them up on the lab tables, and they were just like, and I said, well, how did it go? How did the first day go? And they were like, I don't know if I'm going to make it, Mom. And really, they didn't know if they were going to make it, because that first day is overload. But the neat and miraculous thing is, they made it, as they all do, and they will. And there will be days like you're carrying that heavy backpack, and it's going to seem overwhelming. But I think the main thing about Lakeview, and the reason my children stayed at Lakeview, is because of this nurturing, supportive environment with teachers who love middle school age children. And that's the key. And I've heard lots of people say there's a special place for those people who teach middle school because they love that age. And every one of these teachers here today, that's what they do. They love to teach that adolescent age of supporting, nurturing. And the other thing we want to do is have your kids become independent. So we want to take that dependency off of you, the parent, and create to where they are independent, self-reliant by the time they leave us in 3 years. And with some kids, it takes a little longer. You may have a child that's already in high school, they've come through middle school, and you have a second or third one coming through. No two children, even from the same family, are the same, and they all experience it very differently. So the goals are still the same, that we want them to be independent, self-reliant, organized, be able to ask questions, be able to take care of business, all of that, the goals are the same, but each individual child will experience that very differently, and we're here to help. The other things we're going to look to today is about some general programming of what your child's going to experience in Lakeview Middle School, and the kind of day they're going to have. It's a little different than what they've experienced in elementary school and in the lower school. So this is the first time you're putting a child through middle school. You may, this is going to be information that's helpful for you of what is my child going to take, what is a typical day going to look like. And this one I put up here so you can see the kids at Lakeview, starting in middle school, they take 5 major academic classes. They'll all have math, and English, a Spanish, a history, a science. Every child gets study hall, which is very important. And also we have the elective or the enrichment portion up there. And that's on rotating every 9 weeks. That was exploratory, kind of to help them find other interests and avenues. And so I did put some samples up there. So this is 8 periods. And we have several different schedules that we run. The first one is a 45-minute period, 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. And so our teachers have voted for years and years on which schedules they like better. If they prefer the 45-minute or what I'm going to show you in a moment, a block schedule. And our teachers really come down on the side they like both. They like both so that they can explore and have the time that they need in each. The 45-minute period, we have 3 days a week. And so this is really, if you look at it, it can be fast and furious on Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays. They're going to every single class. They'll go to math every day that they have this schedule. They'll go to Spanish, they'll go to history, science, all of that. So Monday, Tuesday, Friday, they have all 8 of their classes. Okay? And then we do a switch through on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and we have our block period. Teachers voted to keep this because this is a 90-minute opportunity for them to do extended and deeper learning. lot of the science teachers like this because they can do labs. I know that some of them are getting set up, and fifth graders will like this. We've got science teachers going to be doing some dissections here. I know this week they were going, how long do I have? How many block days do you have to get that in? So labs are lots of fun, extended projects, a lot of opportunities for students to do presentations on the block. So this hybrid type schedule, the 45-minute with the block, has allowed our teachers the flexibility to really change up lessons and extend and go deep. And so we've kept that. And that will again be on our schedule for next year. Another thing to remember or to note is that in middle school, we have shared teachers. Some of my teachers teach high school, so our schedules have to be exactly the same as high school. So if you have a high schooler and now you have a middle schooler coming up, they're going to be on the exact same daily schedule. And sometimes that's useful and helpful in planning and things like that. The electives. This is something that changes from grade level to grade level, and our electives are offered every 9 weeks. It rotates, and in 6th grade, the offerings we have are technology, art, and then the drama and music and a life skills class. And so every 9 weeks, they'll rotate to a new elective. And that class does not have any exams with it. They may have tests or other types of assessments, but there are no formal exams in those elective classes. They're more exploratory, an opportunity to really just find out some of your interests and things. If you look at all of those electives up there, the one thread that stays the same in all 3 grades is technology, of course. And we've learned through this last year, especially how valuable technology is. And so that's a common thread that you see. You also see that fine arts are very important, that they stay at all 3 grade levels as well. And then a few of them that are a little different might be that creative writing that we have offered for some years. The public speaking we really like for our 8th grade. They do wonderful speeches. They write their speeches. They give those speeches, and that's a nice elective right before they go into high school, learning that opportunity to speak to their teachers, speak to their peers in a formal setting, and really not be afraid of doing that. And that's a great life skill as well. So those are the electives. This slide right here is really, really important. This slide right here is what builds and really undergirds what we do in middle school and make it possible for your child to succeed, and helps in so many ways. And it is such an important area. All 3 areas here are our advisory program, our academic support, and our guidance. I'm going to speak a little bit about the advisory program, to which we haven't had a lot this year just due to COVID, but coming back next year, we will start that in again, and that's wonderful. They begin in 6th grade. They're assigned a teacher, an advisor. Some of you might think of it, remember it as a homeroom teacher, and that advisor stays with them as their assigned advisor for all 3 years of middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And teachers who've been advisors can actually tell you that's a nice experience because they can then build that relationship all 3 years. Advisory time, how do we meet? We meet during the week, and we meet about 10 or 15 minutes built into a weekly schedule. We have advisors, assembly time. And so we weave that in, and during that advisory time, that teacher may or may not be a teacher that teaches your student a class. It may just be one that teaches a different grade level. And so it can become a mentor, another adult support person that will go over things like, how do we plan? You guys have any tests coming up? Let's organize and think about some goals and life goals, and how do we be kind to one another. So it's a lot of character building within that, as well as academic building in the advisory program. So that one is coming back in the fall, as we've done The other two, I'm going to introduce some of the faces behind those two, as those are wonderful programs and super helpful as well. Ms. Cromley, where are you? She is our learning support person, coordinator, and I'm going to let Ms. Cromley speak with you for a few moments on that.
Good evening, I'm Lacey Crumley, and I am one of the learning support teachers here at the middle school. Ms. Leibold is also a learning support teacher, but she's not here with us tonight. I see some familiar faces out there, so some of you probably know Ms. Leibold. But learning support is a class that's offered usually during your child's elective or your study hall, depending on schedule. And we just provide a little academic support. We provide academic support in all areas except for Spanish. I wish I could, but I know Isabel would not. I mean, I help her with Quizlets and do the best I can, but that's one area that we just are able to provide support. But math, science, other academic areas we do. But if you have any questions, I will be right here, and I have a little form for you. Yes. And I will pass the microphone to Ms. Hayes.
Hi. Glad to see you guys. I see some familiar faces for my current fifth graders out there, so it's nice to see you guys. I am the counselor for Lakeview Academy. I work with all three divisions, so I see my familiar fifth graders out there, but I also work at the middle school as well as see high school students as needed. At the middle school, I am there 2 days a week currently, and I see students as they need, but I also go into the classroom and do guidance during their study hall. And this is a way just to enhance some of the social learning skills and things like that. With my sixth graders, we start out talking about transitions because that's what they're going through. So we spend the next first few weeks or so of school of guidance talking about that. And then we might get into information, of course, about bullying, navigating the social atmosphere. We spend time talking about using social media at times. So we've got a wide variety. Here at the end of the year, we're talking a little bit about interest inventories, about careers or colleges they might be interested in. So during the year, I cover all different topics. I'm also available for you guys if there is something going on, you feel like your student needs some support while they're here at school. Perhaps there has been something going on with a family member or an illness or something of that nature. You can just call me or email me, and I'll be happy to provide support to your student. That's what I'm there for. The students also know that they can come ask me or come to the office and ask for me. And even if I'm not at the middle school, I will come down and talk with them as well. So I am available kind of anytime you need.
Thank you, Ms. Hager. So many of these programs are supported by a lot of support staff, and Ms. Hager is one of those. And it's wonderful to have her go between both divisions in actually all three. So some of your kids actually may already know Ms. Hager. She did provide you with a handout so you can look at some of those things already. So these three areas of support for middle school are pretty foundational: guidance, advisory, and our academic support. Exams. I did want to put this up here because this might be something new for our fifth graders coming to sixth grade. And I know some of the kids want to just bury their heads and say exams. Did she really say that? I did. Exams. But here's the good news. You guys look up there. Sixth grade exams, they are only 10% of the overall grade for that particular semester. And we have semester exams each semester. Once in the fall, usually in December, right before we get out for Christmas holidays or winter break there. And then we have another exam in the springtime at the very end of school, right before we get out for the summer. So your student will experience exams for sixth grade at 10% of their overall grade in sixth 6th grade, and then 7th grade is 15, and then 8th grade is 20%. That 8th grade year, that exam percentage mirrors what they would have in high school. So the goal again is stair-stepping them gradually to get to that point where we want them to be, so that when they go to the high school, they are completely ready for that. And these teachers are phenomenal in getting them ready. I know a lot of kids are very nervous about that. What does that entail? And really, when you're talking about a 10% exam, it doesn't make any sense to even think about it being cumulative for the entire semester. Usually the teachers will prepare an exam that might be over one unit or one chapter or a couple of chapters as a 10% 6th grade exam. So our goal is not to frighten or overwhelm, it's to slowly get them in that mode of what does that mean to sit and study for an exam, what does it mean to take an exam, because all of those are learned behaviors. And I tell my students, even in my study hall, you know, when they're saying they're studying for something, and I say, well, what's your subject that you're studying for? And they're saying math. And if they're just looking at the textbook, I said, are you going to practice any of those problems? And they're looking at me going, but I'm studying. Well, it's always a good practice to study how you're going to actually be tested. So a lot of times that's kind of a what? No, yes. If you're going to be tested in a written format, then maybe you should study that way. Practice some of the problems out like that. Write it out. I can't tell you how many kids want to tell me that they study math by reading the math book. So those are things that we actually try to help them know how to actually study and what they need to do to be prepared. All right, this is the fun stuff, guys. So this is the stuff that makes middle school tiring, exciting, exhausting. It's also the stuff that makes middle school feel so grown up compared to lower school, right? These are the activities that happen at school with your friends. These are the activities that are right after school practices. Lots of fun, lots of things going on, and we want you to try all these things. Well, within reason, okay? We want you to be able to explore these many wonderful extracurricular activities, but at the same time, this is the part that we have to, as parents, help our children know what is their maximum amount of hours they can put in a day to study and still do all these things and be successful and not get stressed out. So that's where, boys and girls, you have to listen to your mom and dad and have those discussions about what am I going to sign up for, what am I going to join, how many of these things can I realistically handle and still take care of my academics, okay? And you've probably heard, if you've been around the Lakeview world, that Lakeview students participate in a lot of extracurricular activities. They do. And that's just sort of what Lakeview students do. But at the same time, they perform academically well as well. So that's our goal, to balance all those wonderful things. So hopefully you've picked out some things on there. There'll be great opportunities when we get back in August on some of the opening days to start signing up for some of these fall activities, practices, the independent lessons, private lessons, music lessons, and even some of the different teams. Some of the teams, like cross country, they'll actually start practice before school starts. So there'll be informational emails coming out if your child wants to participate in that, and things to come. So those will start percolating around the month of August. But that's the fun stuff for middle school. But that's also the stuff we have to learn how to balance. And then what's new for you guys coming over? And I think you guys already have lockers, right? Do you have lockers in 5th grade? Yes? Okay, I got you. So you had something of that, but not, okay, perfect. You guys actually have our old lockers that we had years ago, but now you're going to move up and have lockers that don't have doors. Weird, right? So you're going to come to the middle school, and we're going to give you a space, and we're going to call it a cubby. It doesn't have a door. So you'll get your own cubby. That's something you don't have. And you get that space to put all your things in. Obviously, you'll have lots of things because Lakeview students travel not with one bag, but 2 or 3 or 4, maybe even a rolling one. I've noticed that. So Lakeview students have lots of stuff. And so you'll have those things, you'll have exams, you'll have clubs, you'll have break time, you'll have assembly time, just so many things. Laptops, guys, you guys will get your very own laptops. Okay, I know you've had some experience with that already, but you'll get your very own to take home. And we'll talk in a moment about when that day is to come pick up your laptop for you to do that. Okay, and you'll learn how to use your own email and the line portal where all of your assignments are posted, and your teachers are going to post all those things. Okay, this is something for parents to maybe think about. I know we all have our vacations planned and things, but when August turns the corner for us, we really start getting involved in planning for the next school year. So we will have a boot camp, and it's completely optional. This is not required. This is all optional, and we're extending that to all of our rising 6th graders and any students who are new to Lakeview. And this is going to be for a couple of hours on campus with some of our teachers that are really good with organization, and also there's some of the veterans that know how middle school, what you need to know, how to organize your cubby, how to maybe have all, not have 25 notebooks, but maybe condense those things down. They've got some tricks and things like that. So if you have a student or your student is interested in getting a jump on coming into the school and figuring out where their classes are, maybe even before that opening day, that's a good day to do that. They can come and learn some skills on that. And so that is completely optional. We will send out an email. And we're trying to hopefully organize that with the same day that the kids come pick up their laptops, because that might be good for parents if it's the same day rather than 2 or 3. So look out for that, moms and dads. We will send that your way. But that is a wonderful time to also get your child thinking about middle school yet again with some questions. The laptop pickup, this day I do know is confirmed, is August 3rd is our laptop pickup day. And that's the day that your child can come and pick their laptop up and learn how to log on from Mr. Lovell back there and his team, how to log on to the line portal, what that password is, what their username is, how it all syncs up. And it is much easier to do at the beginning of the year, getting a laptop before school starts. We have found that has been really, really successful, because by the time the kids get to school and enroll the very first few days, you're adding books and everything else. So the laptop's a nice thing to kind of get that out of the way and start learning how to utilize that a little bit more. So laptop pickup day, the 3rd, August 3rd, and then opening day, our school-wide opening day is August 12th. That's a great day too. Hopefully I will see all of you on that day, because that's the day we'll open campus up, and that's our hope, crossing fingers, opening campus and being here to have all of our fun activities that we do that day, meet and greet your teachers, come explore the middle school hallways, move into your cubby, get your stuff put in so you don't have to bring it on the first day of school. All those things are extremely important to a middle schooler. And moms and dads, you'll know that. If you've already taken one through middle school, you know that's important to come and get settled and get all the nerves out. Okay? So those are some just important dates as we go forward. And then I'm going to end today by introducing the staff, and then having you all come ask questions from the staff members that you need to, or faculty members, or myself. But before I do that, I wanted to bring your attention to one of the sheets that many of you have. It's this one here. It's one with the orange little box there. And this one was put together by, I need to introduce probably to you all the first person, Ms. Schubert over here. Ms. Schubert, would you stand up? This is Pat Schubert. She is our middle school office administrative assistant. She is the Beth Waller of the middle school, if that helps you, okay? So that means you all will know Miss Schubert probably, as the moms and dads will know Miss Schubert more than maybe anyone else, because you will call her for lots of things. She put together the sheet of the ins and outs of basic things, good things to know. Thank you so much. You get these too. Of quick tips for the middle school of what is important to you guys that maybe your child knows but may or may not tell you. Okay? It's sometimes hard to get information out of a middle school, and maybe some of y'all are experiencing that. With my kids, I had to make it to where my questions were yes and no answer questions. So you all are figuring that out. So this sheet here is about foreseen absences. If your child's going to be out, what do I need to do? How do I drop off items when we, forget our soccer shin guards and shoes? And how do I, drop off anything? How do I pick my child up? How do I check my child out for the orthodontist appointments that are going to roll through middle school quite frequently? So that little sheet is very, very helpful. We will have that available probably online as well. But Ms. Schubert put all that together because those are the things that many people call an aspirin. Okay? So that might be one of the more helpful things that you walk away with today. And so thank you, Ms. Schubert, for putting that together, as well as all the tables and things today. Thank you so much. So I'd like to introduce the middle school faculty that I am so very, very lucky to work with year in and year out. And these are fabulous teachers. Every single one of them have an incredible passion for teaching kids, and they are just phenomenal. I don't want to get a Hallmark moment and get choked up, because I will. These guys are great. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves. They can tell you, because their enthusiasm is better than listening to me. Okay. All right, Ms. Crumley, do it again.
Okay. Again, I'm Lacey Crumley, and I'm one of the learning support teachers here. And I love that you said she was like the Beth Waller of the lower school. So I guess you could say I'm kind of like the Angie Cooper, right? So maybe that's your connection. But again, I'm here. I have this handy dandy little flyer in case I missed something during my full speech. So come see me.
Hello, I'm Amy Clark, and I teach 6th grade ancient history and 7th grade world geography. And
Hi, buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. I am Nancy Bell, and I'm the Spanish teacher for 6th and 7th grade. And if you come to my classroom, you're going to learn Spanish, but also you're going to learn how to dance.
Hello, I'm Tina Tipton, and I teach 6th and 7th grade English. And also, I'm in charge of the middle school spelling bee. And I've got an email that I will be sending out to you pretty quickly regarding summer reading assignments. That's probably the most important thing you need to know from me right now. So you'll want to read that, and let me know if you have any questions. But I look forward to having your kids. I'm sure I've got a bunch of their siblings. So anyway, I'm going to pass it over to
Hey, I'm Vicky Kirkley. I teach 6th grade earth science and 7th grade life science, and I'm also the robotics coach for middle school. So go robotics. They need some girls for robotics. So. Okay. Hi, I am Miss Gavin. This is Miss Gavin. I'm actually teaching most of these 5th grade students right now. So I'm a familiar face when you come into middle school. So I'm just excited to get you all in my classroom, and we have a lot of fun things we can do. Tie-dye, we play with acrylics, watercolor, all of the above. So that's, looking forward to that art and seeing you guys again. I'm just so excited.
My name is Joe Harris, and I'm the public speaking teacher as well as the fine arts director. We've got so many great fine arts programs. As you come down to the tables, I'll be happy to speak to you about theater or music. We've got a band and orchestra program we're introducing next year, as well as the chorus program. We've got visual arts, like I said, for Miss Gavin. If you've got any question about any of the arts programs we've got or any of the electives you may be taking next year, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions I can about any of those. Looking forward to meeting all of you.
Good evening. I'm Holly Bales. I teach 6th and 7th grade PE, 6th grade health, and I coach the middle school swim team. So if you have any questions over PE, health, or even sports in general, come see me and I'll let I talk to you.
Ms. Snyder already gave me a very nice introduction. Thank you, Mrs. Snyder. My name is Pat Schubert, and I'm in the middle school office, and don't ever feel like if you call me, email me, any of the students, if you have any questions, or you just, even for tardy, I tell people I'm very popular for my tardy classes, so you come see me, okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Schubert, and this is a phenomenal staff. They really, truly are. And if you have not had a middle schooler come through, you're going to have a complete joy in getting to know them. It's a truly gifted staff, so don't hesitate. They will do anything they possibly can to help your child learn and grow and just become great men and young women that you want them to be. And that's really the goal of what we set up here at Lakeview, is to help them to be academically sound, but it's the same thing. We want them to walk out of here as wonderful human beings with a good sense of where they've come from and where they're going. And that takes a partnership with you all and with us. And so every time I see parents, I'm just like, thank you for sharing your greatest gift with us and allowing us to be part of your child's life in doing that, because parenting is a job that never ends, and it's really the most rewarding thing that you can do. So thank you so much for sharing your children, and we look forward to the relationship that we're going to experience together in the next 3 years. So please don't hesitate to reach out to any one of these staff members or myself if you have any questions. And that goes for even through the summer. If any of you feel like you need to, reach out to me, you've got concerns or just questions, I meet frequently in the summertime with, parents that just call me and want to schedule a 10 or 15-minute meeting about any concerns or questions that they have. That's not uncommon, so I don't want you to feel that would be an imposition to me. I will be here during the summer, so feel free to do that. I'll be happy to set that up where we can discuss whatever you need and just go from there. But without further ado, if you'd like, you may come forward and ask your teachers some questions. Thank you all for coming.